right here. This is Ironman training with POTS and type 1 diabetes, week 5. Let's go. All right, this week it was 3 runs for 21 miles, 3 rides for 85 miles, and 2 swims for about 3,000 yards. I dialed back to swim this week because midweek I started feeling a bit of a ping. I had fractured the cartilage of my rib a couple years back during a Spartan race and seemed to have re-aggravated a little bit. And I was definitely feeling it after the pool on Monday. So I decided to dial it back. I took Wednesday off. I also dialed back the effort and the total yardage that I did on Friday. I know one day doesn't usually let a rib heal, but between that, I use the buffer, the BFF buffer, if you've ever seen that. My wife was helping me out with my lats and just all those muscles. I think it was just overuse. So I dialed it back just a little bit. We'll ramp that up next week. The blood sugar spike I experienced mid last week actually lasted until mid this week. I had lost insulin sensitivity. It just didn't seem to work. So no matter what happened throughout the night, throughout runs, everything, it was like 300-400. So it was pretty awful. But ironically, Wednesday afternoon of this week, it's settled back down and it's actually been fine. It's been fine for the last few days ever since. I've been continuing to take the midodrine for the POTS. The jury's still out because I'm not seeing a negative impact on the heart rate from what I've seen so far. But the excessive sweating is definitely still there. I mean, it's 54 degrees outside when I was just on the indoor bike in my garage for the last couple hours and just absolutely drenching. I mean, it was 40 something degrees out the other morning, and I was completely just drenched, losing 6 to 8 pounds in an hour on the indoor bike when it's like 40 something degrees outside. So I'm gonna continue to take it and just see what it looks like over the next couple of weeks, but we may have to go see the doctor again on that. The runs are actually decent. Monday and Wednesday, the zone 2 portion of my runs were both like between 11:30 and 12-minute miles, so nice and easy. I was actually able to get into the 9-10 minute range for any of the aerobic intervals I was doing, and then quickly settle back into zone 2 during recovery. So I got about 7.5 miles on Monday, 7.5 miles on Wednesday. Was a little bit slower yesterday, definitely a little more impacted. Did just over about 5.5 miles. Problem being, when you have such elevated blood sugars and then you also have sleep apnea and you have a terrible night's sleep like I did on Thursday, with all the various chronic conditions, it's tough to tell which one is triggering which. So yesterday could have been a bad run because of POTS, could have been a bad run because of diabetes, could have been a bad run because of sleep. It just could have been a bad run. Not everything has to have a sinister reason behind it. But it is nice to get the miles back up. This summer I was training for a half Ironman, which I ended up not doing. I did an Olympic triathlon that was local, so my mileage really never got up. I had spent a lot of time on the bike, but not a lot of time running. So it feels good to get my feet beneath me again for sure. The bike is still absolutely mentally excruciating. It was supposed to rain like a lot, and it hasn't, which is why I opted to work in the garage today instead of getting out on the road. I was an hour on Tuesday, 75 minutes on Thursday, and then 2 hours today. I watched the movie Phenomenal the other day while I was on the bike, and then today I watched Prefontaine. My quad tendonitis is absolutely blowing up though. That's caused me a lot of pain and discomfort. I'm keeping the bike in lower gears, and I'm trying to do rehab. That is probably the area I am failing the most. It's not my diet, it's my rehab and doing all the small exercises, working on the minors, the thing that keep your body from breaking. If you're going to ramp up to do 112 miles on the bike and a full marathon after that, and of course, after having swam for 2.4 miles, I got to make sure that we're not ramping up too quickly, and then I'm working on the muscles to help support this adventure as we go. For fuel, I rely a lot on Honey Stinger. I use a Honey Stinger waffle sometimes before I leave for a run or get on the bike or go get in the pool. I use Honey Stinger gels when I'm out on a ride or a run. I've been putting Tailwind in my water bottle. I've also been drinking BPN electrolytes throughout the course of the day, and adding an element to my water as well. For the POTS, you need to drink a lot of salt, a lot of electrolytes, and I've been trying to get up to 10,000 milligrams a day, which is a lot more challenging than it sounds. But that's largely how I've been fueling, at least during workouts. I do use some amino acids post-workout. And then I actually have for breakfast a protein shake, which I'm going to go make right now. That is roughly 1,100 calories. It's 65 grams of protein, and that's before I add peanut butter, banana, etc. And all told, it's got 115 grams of carbohydrates, all of which I need right now. So I'm going to go get it. My weight has been fluctuating, but I'm a lot closer to 185 right now than I was to 188 when I began. So also, despite the hell with diabetes, my A1C is at least level from where it was a week ago. So we made back all the losses from that. Next week will be a big week, mostly because I'm moving. So that's going to be a pain in the ass. But got probably 25 miles on the books, maybe 5,000 yards in the pool, and probably 90 to 95 miles on the bike. So we're getting up there. Also next week, I'm running the half marathon at the St. Pete Classic next Sunday. So we hope to see you there. Whether it be diabetes, whether it be POTS, whether it be tendonitis or rib injuries or just stubbing your toe, there's always going to be challenges. There's no way that you can take a 140-mile event or something that's 5-6 months away and expect everything to go smoothly. And that's probably the greatest takeaway that you get from doing these things is you become a superhero problem solver. So there will be more problems. We will keep working through them. We'll keep solving them. 105 days till Ironman Jacksonville. Let's go. Live inspired.